What's going on, everyone? So it has been very quiet in the Lakers front. Now, obviously, there's a lot of rumors and speculations and whatnot, but like it's all kind of like the same old repetitive stuff, right? Like Bradley Beal or Lakers doing a consolidation trade or this, that, and the other, right? Which usually is a good sign for the Lakers, right? More often than not, we've seen that, hey, things start to quiet down a little bit and then a move ends up happening, right? I do think, and this is just kind of my opinion, I do think that everyone's kind of waiting around for Bradley Beal. Like there were some reports not that long ago that I covered and talked about where it was like teams are kind of waiting to see where does Bradley Beal go, because depending on what Bradley Beal does could kind of shift some of these other teams and what they end up doing, right? Particularly in free agency or maybe even trades, right? Because like, for example, if Bradley Beal goes to the Milwaukee Bucks, well, then that doesn't really affect the Western Conference teams. So, but all those teams are probably now going after like DeAnthony Melton and Malcolm Brogdon and guys like that. But if he was to go to like the Clippers, well, yes, again, all those teams are going to be going for the same thing, but you're going to have teams like Milwaukee going after those guys too. And teams are going to be like, oh, well, we need to load up more, right? Do they maybe go look for a better trade? Because they're like, man, Clippers with James Harden, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, John Collins, and Ivica Zubac, right? Like, we got to be able to compete and keep up with those teams, right? So depending on how the Bradley Beal situation goes, I do think will kind of dictate things, especially for the Lakers, right? Because if the Lakers were to land Bradley Beal, then that could kind of change things, right? That could kind of, do the Lakers now look to move Austin Reeves? Because it's like, hey, we can start Beal at the 2, and, he's a better catch and shoot 3-point shooter, so he can kind of play off ball, but still do a lot of the same things you'd be looking for with an Austin Reeves, right? Or, do you bring Bradley Beal off the bench and that kind of solves some of your bench scoring? Do you bring Austin Reeves off the bench and that, again, solves some of your bench scoring, right? Like, so, again, it could kind of pivot and change even the direction the Lakers go. But in general, right, we've seen kind of like my favorite, the last year, but we've seen it in previous years, is like the reports of like Lakers are planning to stand pat, or Lakers are comfortable where they're at, or Lakers whatever, right? Like some variation of like, hey, the Lakers aren't going to do anything else, and then almost immediately something gets done. Right? We got reports Lakers were just going to finish the season as is, stay the course, blah 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 blah. And then, like, literally, like, 3 days later, Dorian Finney-Smith ends up being a Laker, right? And then fast forward a little bit, and it was like, Lakers, there's no trades. Lakers are standing pat, right? They're not looking to get a center. They're just going to run it as is and hope that Dorian Finney-Smith makes the impact enough to win the game, blah, 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 or win the championship, blah, blah, blah. And then the Lakers go and trade for Luka Doncic, right? And a lot of the Lakers trades have been like that, like the Rui Hachimura trade. I know that's kind of how I got my, Laker dominance between that and then the D'Angelo Russell acquisition, right? The kind of run and joke, but it was out of left field, right? The only reason I talked about it was because I was like, the Lakers really need size out on the perimeter. It's like Rui, like the Wizards want to trade Rui, and then he ends up getting traded. But outside of that, like there weren't really reports about it. Same thing with D'Angelo Russell. The Utah trade was heavily reported. The Utah trade was heavily talked about, right? I mean, dating back into the offseason. But the D'Angelo Russell element of it, because originally it was supposed to be Mike Conley. But then, Minnesota was like, oh, we'll take Mike Conley and you can have D'Lo because we don't want to just like lose D'Lo for nothing. And D'Lo wasn't going to re-sign. So you've seen several moves that have happened out of left field. Now, it's not all the moves. Again, like the Utah trade was heavily reported, right? That was something we all kind of knew and expected. Lakers have had kind of like the minor trades, like Mo Bamba was like out of left field. Like that was like, oh, that was kind of interesting, right? Like, but like Malik Beasley coming, like that was something. Dennis Schroeder was reported. Like there have been kind of these mix and matches, but usually when it's quiet, something gets done. The counter argument to that is like we're 3 months away from training camp, right? So like teams aren't in a rush. Like the guys that are there are still there, right? But it's just kind of like what's going to happen, who's going to blink first type thing. When is something going to end up getting resolved? And my guess is probably like I said, the Bradley Beal situation. The Bradley Beal thing will be the first thing that's like blinks, and then boom, everything else will kind of fall into place. But even like various trades, right? Lakers are supposed to re-engage with Andrew Wiggins, or Miami about Andrew Wiggins, because they just got Norman Powell for essentially peanuts. So it's like, dude, you just got Norman Powell for peanuts. We're seeing what the trade market's looking like. Guys aren't going for insane prices. A lot of the trades have just been player swaps. There's been several trades that have just literally just been player swaps. So it's like, dude, like, let's meet in the middle here somewhat, right? Like, it's one thing to give up an asset, right? Like, if you were to do Rui, Gabe, and, Dalton Connect and land Andrew Wiggins, right? You could argue a little overpay, whatever, but it's a necessity. Lakers need it. I think it would be something that's worth it. Like I always say, I'm not against the Lakers slightly overpaying if it makes sense. And Andrew Wiggins makes sense. It lines up with the timeline for the 2027 thing, but it also does more than just get you Andrew Wiggins, right? It gets you Andrew Wiggins and then also frees up 2 roster spots, as well as frees up cap space to now free up your full biannual exception, right? So if you could pull something like that off, you're not trading Rui, Dalton Connect, and Gabe Vincent just for Andrew Wiggins. You're trading those 3 for Andrew Wiggins plus, potentially a Bradley Beal, potentially, if Nikola Vucevic ends up getting bought out, or an Al Horford or whatever, right? Like you're hearing all these things, and you're hearing a lot of these players linked to other guys like DeAnthony Melton. He's more likely going to the Golden State Warriors, where it was just like originally he was the Lakers to lose. But again, like all these teams are waiting for the same guy, Bradley Beal, right? Like no one's gonna sign DeAnthony Melton, or more. I shouldn't say nobody will, because you'd never be surprised. Like if I was like one of these teams, like if I was the Warriors, why not just go get DeAnthony Melton? Right? Because, you could start Bradley Beal, like Steph and Beal in the backcourt, sure, with Jimmy Butler and stuff. Like, that could be great. But, why not just go get DeAnthony Melton and then figure it out, right? Like, I kind of feel like that argument for the Lakers, too. Like, just go get DeAnthony Melton and then figure it out, right? Like, but we'll kind of see how this all sort of plays out. I just think it's kind of been... Lakers made the big splash moves, getting Ayton, getting LaRavia, and then it's just kind of been silent. There's the rumors and stuff, but like I said, it's kind of been the same sort of 3 rumors, right? Like Andrew Wiggins, consolidation trade, Bradley Beal are kind of like the narrative that's being pushed very heavily right now. And it's like, okay, well, what about everything else? Like, how does everything else shape up, right? Like, so I'm curious to see. I do think, or hope, it's probably the better way to put it, that something gets done in the next, this week. Because, look, the Bradley Beal situation was supposed to already be done, right? Like, it was supposed to be done 2 days ago. Like, it was 48 hours ago. Like, it's like, when is this going to happen? When is this going to get done? So, hopefully, we finally get some news. It'd be nice to kind of, get some news on Bradley Beal one way or another, right? Like, if he comes to Lakers, great, beautiful, right? I'm all for signing up Bradley Beal, but if he doesn't, then, now Lakers can pivot and go in another direction, maybe go swoop up a DeAnthony Melton or something. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things, but we'll see. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoy these types of videos, I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.